The topic I'd like to talk about today is aggression and the practice of non-aggression. I don't mean aggression in the usual sense of the word, which is physical aggression or verbal aggression or emotional aggression. We're all very familiar with that type of aggression. It's familiar from the playground onwards, where someone walks up to you and starts pushing you about, and that's the most simple and obvious example of aggression. Is if I'm a bit bigger than you or more confident than you, I can walk up to you and give you a big push, maybe push you over. And then, I don't know, maybe you'll be upset or cry, and I'll feel good. So that's basic, simple aggression as we all understand it. And there's no need to talk so much about aggression, really. We all, as we grow up, learn to veil our aggression because it straight away works against us. When we meet an aggressive person, we no longer take them so seriously. It's like a very obvious mark against us. There's got to be some issue that we've got if we're going around being aggressive. It stands to reason. That's kind of like a psychology which we all understand. An aggressive person feels bad about themselves, and so they're compensating by being aggressive and trying to one up everyone else, have the last word, win every argument, prove other people wrong, etc. And we spot that a mile away, and we know it's as if they've got a big fluorescent neon sign over their head saying, "Look at me, I'm an idiot." So if we have basic intelligence, we don't want to go around advertising the fact that we're an idiot or that we've got a psychological issue, and so we'll stop being so overtly aggressive. But I'm talking about aggression here in the sense that was used by Gurdjieff, which is a very precise, a kind of, I suppose, maybe you could call it fundamental aggression. It's aggression on a very deep-seated level. And it's so deep-seated, we don't see it at all. It's almost like a condition of our being. When we're in the everyday kind of mode, we're aggressive as a default. We're aggressive without knowing that we're aggressive. Even people who seem very nice are often aggressive. They've just been cleverly aggressive. So in this sense of the word, aggression can be defined as saying it's when I want to get things to be the way that I want them to be. Now, when we say this, it's clear that aggression isn't necessarily a bad thing in any way. Aggression is needed in life. In terms of our physical or biological existence, we have to be aggressive because we have to get things to be the way we want them to be. If I'm soaking wet and cold, I have to get things so that I'm maybe got some dry clothes and I can wrap up with a blanket or something to warm up. So there's lots and lots of ways in which we are required to be aggressive in our environment if we want to carry on surviving. If we don't want to carry on surviving, that's a different matter, I guess. But underlying that legitimate, what we could call legitimate aggression, there's also this invisible aggression that exists on a psychological level, and it corresponds to what we call control. So if I am being aggressive in this way, what I'm basically doing is projecting my values, my assumptions, my viewpoint out onto the world and out onto other people, whilst believing that this is a good thing. And this, of course, is what human beings have always done. They've always projected their own beliefs, assumptions, prejudices, preconceptions, etc. on the world and other people, and then stuck their chests out and patted themselves on the back, or maybe given themselves medals or whatever, because they think they're doing a good thing. That's fundamental human behavior in a nutshell. And it's very hard to see this as not being legitimate. So just to give one example, if I'm a type of therapist or psychotherapist that has theories, that runs on theories, then I will, of course, project my theories onto my clients. And so I'm being aggressive. And this is not legitimate. And because it's not legitimate, it doesn't do the client any good, even though it might seem to in the short term. It's not legitimate because none of my theories are true. And they never will be true, and they never could be true. No theories are ever true. Not in the psychological sense. I mean, I could have theories that are true in other senses. I could have a theory that the sky is blue, and extensive research will prove this to be true, and I could say, yeah, I've got a true theory there, or similar, or that's a bit of a stupid example, but similar kind of trivial stuff to that I can have theories about. About human beings, we cannot have theories. Or rather, we can have theories, but they are never ever going to be true. They can't be true. If that was true, then you could be my theory of you, which would mean that you're no more than a reflection of my thoughts. It's like fitting you into a book of accounts or something. I've just fitted you neatly into the columns and then added you up with all the other figures and got you all to add up. So there is absolutely no way that we can get a human being to conform or agree with our theories without doing violence to that human being. So we can't call that therapy. Doing violence to another human being cannot be said to be therapeutic or to be a therapy in any way. And we can see this in psychiatry, because in psychiatry we have a very basic taxonomy, and we apply this taxonomy to the people or the patients that we meet. Therefore, psychiatry is aggressive in this technical sense. There's no doubt about it. Once we've defined aggression in this way, then absolutely there can be no doubt about it, because if I'm a psychiatrist, I am seeing you within my own terms, not in your terms. If I saw you in your terms, that'd be a different kettle of fish entirely. But I don't. The whole point is that I don't see you and your ideas about the world or experience of the world in your terms. I see them in my terms, which I've agreed upon with lots of other professionals, and which, because of the power structure, far outranks any ideas or perceptions or assumptions that you might have. And not only you as a patient, but also Joe Soap in the street. Doesn't matter a damn what ideas he might have. You can't stand up to something which comes from which originates on a very high tier of power. I can't actually think how anyone can challenge it, really. It's a job. Somehow, I don't quite know how it's become elevated to such a lofty position of unassailability, but it has. It's extraordinarily hard to challenge. It's kind of like what they say about non-falsifiable theories. Like I think it was Popper said about classic Freudian psychodynamic theory that it's non-falsifiable, because if you come along either as my patient or client or some person I meet at a dinner party and try and falsify it, you're proving it, because I'll look at you and I'll say, resistance. You're resisting what I'm saying, therefore it must be true. That's why you're resisting it. So they all fits into the theory and proves the theory. So Popper says Freudian theory, because it's unassailable, isn't science. It's just a means of control. It's a very neat form of aggression. And going back to psychiatry, if I was a psychiatrist and I didn't want to practice aggression, or I wanted to just take a break from practicing aggression, what would I do? And very clearly what I'd do, I'd see you without putting everything through a grid or a framework so as to make sense of you in terms of some mental construct. Now if I do that, that's not aggression. I'm not spin doctoring reality to fit some kind of set of ideas that I have in advance. And without going into it too much, if you're meeting someone who's listening to you in a non-judgmental way, without going, and writing something down on a piece of paper or the mental equivalent, that feels one hell of a lot better than meeting someone who is fitting you into a box. There's no comparison. If you meet someone that's just observing you like an object in order to classify you, that's not a human relationship. It's not any type of relationship, really. You're being dehumanized. You have no power in that relationship. So I have all the power, you have zero power. And you really don't, because I choose the model. I choose the playing field that we're going to play on. That means you're going to lose. And although we may not be able to consciously articulate it like that to ourselves, and probably we can't, we know we're being disempowered and it feels bad. It definitely feels bad. We're being lessened. We're being devalidated, which is a kind of a catchphrase, but it kind of gets the point across well enough. So my understanding of myself and the world is of no worth compared to yours. So how's that going to make me feel? Now sometimes it may may make me feel good if I'm desperate to have a supreme authority to take care of my life, or to take care of me, or to take care of the mess that I perceive my life to be and sort it out. In which case, I am delighted to hand over responsibility. And it feels very good to meet someone who I absolutely believe that I can do that with. A highly qualified, highly trained professional, etc., etc. That feels great. It doesn't mean it is good. Lots of things that feel good aren't good. But it does feel good if that's our agenda. Now this is very easy to see with a blunt instrument like psychiatry, which is so blunt it's kind of, it's laughable really. But when we're talking about the more subtle forms of therapy or psychotherapy or counselling, there is an overlay of whatever you'd want to call it, person-centeredness, that masks the ideas about fundamental ideas or assumptions about reality that I am projecting on you. I don't even know I'm doing it. Maybe you don't know I'm doing it. It's not consciously anyway. But inevitably, with total inevitability, that set of assumptions or beliefs or whatever you want to call that, my worldview, is what I am projecting on you. I've got nothing else to project, and I'm going to project it on you because I'm making an unconscious assumption that the way I see things is the right way, or is the only possible way. I can't stretch my head enough to realise that there's a different way of seeing things. I just can't do that. Unless I can, I suppose. So it's possible through personal work to see one's own assumptions as being only that, one's own assumptions, and having no validity beyond that, which comes back to this whole thing of questioning yourself and being reflective. So it is possible, but it takes an awful lot of work and an awful lot of time, and generally that doesn't happen. If it did happen, we'd have a non-aggressive therapist. But in most cases, what we have is a therapist who's trying to put you into a box without ever acknowledging that they're trying to put you into a box. So then, moving on from talking about therapists, we can talk about therapy and say that the only genuinely helpful form of therapy is when we learn to practice non-aggression. And practicing non-aggression doesn't mean suddenly dropping all of our resistance, or suddenly stopping trying to make everything be the way we think it should be, or being pissed off when it isn't, or upset or demoralized or anxious or whatever. It doesn't mean that. Like, we're very likely to think that it does mean that. So if I was starting off and I had the notion that it's a great idea to practice non-aggression, and I've got a bit of insight and a bit of self-awareness, and I can see myself being aggressive, then the first thing I do is try and stop that aggression and tame it, or do something with it, or get rid of it, or force myself not to be that way. And then there I am being aggressive to my non-aggression straight away. I'm no different, I'm just as aggressive. My aggression is being turned against it itself, as if that's going to cure things. So aggression means that I'm trying to change things from being the way that they are to the way that I am is aggressive. That's taken for granted. So it's not about changing that or evaluating it as being bad in any way. So I carry on being aggressive. But because I'm not trying to change it, and because I'm not judging it, and because I'm being aware of it, I'm not alienating myself from myself and trying to be a different person. It's actually more like as if I'm being a good friend with myself, who can see these aspects of myself and yet have unconditional positive regard or like myself, even with these not so attractive attributes. We don't like our friends because they're completely free of unattractive attributes. So it's the same thing when we're practicing non-aggression. We see our own aggression in such a way that we're not embarrassed by it, we're not trying to get away from it, we're not alienating ourselves from it. Even when that aggression gets pretty obvious and pretty gross. So practicing non-aggression in a kind of a crude way means just living life as the asshole you are, really. And that's the therapy. Fighting against who you are and disliking yourself for being who you are doesn't do any good at all. That's the original problem. Validating ourselves. If I was to validate myself for being a complete asshole, but that's what assholes do anyway, and that doesn't help either. It just encourages me. So the really tricky thing, the really demanding thing is for me to carry on minute by minute, hour by hour, living my life as the jerk that I am. Only consciously. I'm being a conscious jerk. And I'm not doing it because I think I'm going to be rewarded for it or get somewhere because of it, in which case I'm being manipulative, and then I'm a manipulative jerk. I'm not doing it for that reason at all. I'm just doing it because that's the only integrity I have, is to be honest about how I am. That's the most I can do, is have that integrity. And even if I can't have that integrity all the time, which is asking a lot, I can work at it, I can practice it. I can practice being a conscious jerk. I can practice being a conscious asshole. And that's equivalent to what Jung called the longissima via, the long road, where therapy becomes you living your life as it actually is. Which is weird because in that case therapy is indistinguishable from just living your life. So we might as well forget about the word therapy in that case. Just talk about living your life honestly. Which might seem simple, but who the hell does that? Okay, thanks for watching.